Oh, welcome to GEEKAMANIA! Seems like ages since our last episode. So this one is about top 3 TV shows drama of all time. Mark may be doing comedy, we're not sure.
Because Mark might not have watched enough good dramas.
Yeah. And we've told Mark to not rant about a particular show. So we'll see how that goes.
Because he has just gotten into it and we'll talk about it for hours.
If anyone's a friend of his on Facebook, you may have seen slight addiction. It's almost like
it's not like he changed his profile picture to it or anything.
He's suffering with withdrawal at the moment. He's gone all, sweaty and...
Oh God, I want to watch the next episode.
Need my fix, man.
Need my fix.
Yeah, so we got Ben Upton.
Yo, that's Mark Sylvester.
That's Benjamin Hawks.
He introduced himself.
Yeah.
Golden. Yay. So we'll start with Dan.
Oh, okay. My number 3 will be Walking Dead. Wicked TV show. I'm a fan of zombies. Yeah, that's. I love.
Next, you'll tell me you like horror.
I do quite like horror. Yes.
Oh my God.
I have all the comics so far. The TV show is just as good. I remember watching the first episode and instantly being hooked. It's a very good show. It has a lot of twists, and not only that, despite being a zombie TV show, you can actually go through episodes without seeing zombies.
Yeah.
So there's decent characters, great writing.
That was the best thing about the creator's idea for a zombie series. Is just it's not all about zombies. It's more about these characters dealing with the fact they're zombies.
Yeah, some of the...
And most of the most evil characters in it are other humans.
Yes.
They're the real dicks.
Definitely.
The zombies are the lesser threat.
And not only that, you have these sort of ones where you can be one of each side. Like, you could be a Rick fan or you could be a Shane fan.
Definitely Shane.
You could be Team Edwards or Team...
Exactly.
Team Jacob.
And it was very close to the comics for a very long time.
Don't do that.
But it's now veered away from the comics, so I'm really excited to see where they go.
I hated season 2. I love season 1 and 3, but I hated season 2.
I can see why, because season 2 was kind of, we're in the farm. This is where we're staying with the farm. Can we stay in the farm? And then it was
season 3, they kept moving it on. Like, I know they went through the comic book really fast, but season 2, they were just like one tiny bit of a comic book.
Yeah, exactly. And the only problem I had with season 3 was it felt like they were building up to a war, and they didn't give us a war.
That's
yeah, but season
Governor was awesome though. Oh, really well cast.
Yeah, you really hate the Governor. Really hate him. And he hasn't done half of the evil things he did in the comics. And you still really hate him.
And the best thing is, they keep killing off the most annoying characters.
Yes.
Good thing.
Yes, they do.
People you don't like die. It's great.
All these characters out there. Oh, they hate black people though. That's one thing.
Yeah, you can only have one black person in the group.
Yeah. As soon as a new one comes in, you're like, oh, sorry mate, your time's numbered. Your days are numbered.
Yeah, but they are slowly bringing in the really good characters from the comics. Michonne's come into it, and they're gonna. Tyrese is finally in it properly, but Michonne.
Where's Clementine?
She's not quite in the comics game, but yeah. So,
the video games have always been better than any of the other forms for me.
The Telltale games are amazing.
They're
definitely amazing.
So good.
But yeah, my number 3 is Walking Dead.
Okay. My number 3 is going to be Parks and Recreation. I don't think any of you have seen it.
Is it Parks and Rec a comedy?
Oh shit.
Have you just broken
Cross
the
that
rule
off,
already?
Get rid of that. Cross that out. My number 3.
There's a reason my number 3 isn't Arrested Development.
Mark, you can cut that out, Mark. Forget that ever happened. My number 3 is Game of Thrones. I've read all the books, and I really love the TV show. I really love the world. I think that I don't know why I compare it to Lost, but like Lost, you've got all this mythology, and that's all like that really interests me. I like hearing all the backstory and all this stuff. And with Game of Thrones, if you take the time to read about it, you know about all the families, you know their mottos, you know how they hate each other. When you watch the show, it's a really good political fantasy. And I love the way that the fantasy elements start off really small but get really big. It's got really good characters, even if you just watch the show in general. Like, there's just so many characters that you'll be like, oh, I really like them. like Tyrion, of course, everyone knows about him and loves him.
Daenerys. Yeah.
And Daenerys, yeah. So I think it's, and it's very well done in comparison. It's one of the best, most faithful adaptations of books I've ever seen in like books or film, TV or film. I just think it's very well done.
I hate to say this, but I still prefer the books.
Well, I think the books I love because you get all this depth of characters that you don't get from the TV show.
Mhm.
And the TV show is a much more streamlined version. But I think that the way it captures certain events, like Battle of Blackwater, was just really well done. It was just exactly how you imagine it in the.
And the TV show's got Emilia Clarke in.
It does.
This helps.
And not only that, Game of Thrones is one of those ones. It's one of the only TV shows that I've ever watched where anyone who dies, you actually really care.
Yeah. Game of Thrones is really at making.
Yeah, I love looking at my Facebook wall after a certain episode of the last season, and just the day after, it's just everyone going, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, just
my heart. I'm dying.
Well, my number 3 is the Sarah Connor Chronicles. I thought the way they were able
Say
to...
that 3 times.
Sarah Connor Chronicles, Sarah Connor Chronicles, Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Oh, disappointed.
I thought it was very well done. I like the whole sort of them forgetting about Terminator 3 and the whole kind of storyline with it, because that thing was shit.
Yeah, everyone could do better by forgetting
Yeah.
that.
And it was just really good. The woman who's one of the people in Game of Thrones was really good as Sarah Connor. Like she hasn't got a candle on Sarah. What's her name? Real name? Linda Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, it's just very, very good show.
What about the fact it's cancelled?
Yeah, I know. I was quite upset about that. So, Ben?
My number 3 is Star Trek Next Generation. Because I love that show so much. That show is... I was basically grew up with that show. And I am a big fan of Sir Patrick Stewart. Massive Sir Patrick Stewart fan. And he's just perfect in it. He's everything I ever wanted. And the comedy's great in it, and the action's great in it, and the drama's great, and everything is just wonderful. Everything. I love it. The characters, everything. Riker's beard, I love it. That beard. I wish I could have that beard. That's all I need to say.
Just a beard.
Just a beard.
Just the beard.
Okay, number 2.
My number 2 came out when I was a teenager. I would never go back and watch it, ever, but it's Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I remember being a teenager and it being on every Thursday on Sky One, coming home and watching it to watch Angel and Willow and Xander and that. It's probably the first TV show drama that I ever watched in which I became obsessed with and became hooked on. I would watch films just because Sarah Michelle Gellar and Alison Hannigan and all that
Scooby-Doo.
I would only watch them
Mother.
just so I could sit there and go, oh look, it's Willow, and oh look, it's Buffy.
Yeah.
You know? And the second season is probably some of the best TV writing that I've ever seen, where Angel turned evil because Buffy and Angel got together. Buffy and Angel were in love. Buffy was fighting with herself the whole season to not hurt Angel, and then she finally gets the courage to kill him, and just as she kills him, his soul comes back in, he becomes good Angel again, and she still has to kill him to save the world.
Yeah.
So, brilliant.
Yeah, Tony Violin.
Yeah.
My number 2 is exactly the same, slightly different reasons.
Okay.
I was like you in that when I remember when I was a kid, I used to go to Cubs, and just before it, I'd put on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It'd be on. I'd be like, no, I want to watch the rest of the episode. I had to leave. And I remember for Christmas, I got the box set of all of them, and for the week after that, I'd wake up and I would watch Buffy, and there's 7 seasons, so there was a lot of Buffy. And I literally didn't leave my house because I was just watching it all one after the other. And it was just when I finished it, it was that empty feeling in myself because there's nothing to fill that gap. But recently rewatching it, it is better than I thought it'd be. I think when you watch it, you get different things from it. So when I watched it as a kid, I really loved the relationship of all the characters. They're friends. And they're all being together in the first season. I didn't like the later seasons so much because they're so distant. And that was I didn't like that because I was one of the things that attracted me to it was all this friendship between all these characters. And I loved, I saw myself in it, they're going through high school and stuff like that. Whereas when I came back to it as an adult, I was you see how they go through different stages which represent different parts of your life. So they go through school, then college, then they get out and they get a shitty job, and she's just kind of, they're just like so distant. All their lives come into it. It gets so dark towards the end, just because they're all living. They can't pay the rent, so Buffy has to get a job in like a Burger King style restaurant and stuff like that. And some of the stuff that happens with like Spike and Buffy, and it just gets so kind of moody as it gets on with it. But I appreciate that more looking back on it now. So I think it was a very good show for like just being more than what its like description was. So it was a show about a woman who kills vampires, but it represented a lot more than that. And
I didn't want to go back because I didn't want to tarnish my memories. But
Yeah.
I might go back. I might decide to go back.
Yeah, there are a lot of kind of crappy episodes, which you often get in like 22 episode seasons. There's like one with.
Well, when there's that many episodes, some of them are going to fall flat.
Yeah, so there are some of the
Star
more
Trek.
weirder ideas. Stepfather being a robot and such like that.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it beats Firefly being more.
Well, welcome to the Joss Whedon Power Hour on GEEKAMANIA, because my number 2 is Firefly.
I haven't
Because
seen Serenity yet though.
I've not seen Serenity yet, no, but I absolutely adore that one season of Firefly. Weirdly enough, it's quite similar to my number 3 when I think about it. Team of puckish rogues on a starship. But yeah, it's brilliant. The characters are all really lovingly crafted. The situations are great. Just every single minutiae about the show, except for the duration of how long it went on for, is really well done. And yeah, I kind of like the fact in a way that it wasn't completely finished, because then I just have this like little perfect chunk of well-crafted television that I can look back on.
Yeah.
I know that it will probably never be tarnished.
It's good for rewatching as well.
It is.
It's a nice length.
It is. It's a very good length. It's
Well,
yeah. It would have been better long, obviously, but the chunk we've got is a very nice. It's like a diamond. It's a small diamond that I can just look back and go, yeah, that is a diamond. I like that diamond. I'm gonna polish it some.
My number 2 would probably be WWE Raw. That's me.
Are we counting
The
that as a
fuck?
thing?
controversial.
Yeah, that's a
Left
drama.
wing.
That's a drama.
Complete left
Came out of
wing.
nowhere.
They have drama and stuff. I think the storylines are quite interesting. The different characters they have are quite
I like season
interesting.
finales.
Yeah, the season finales are quite good, you know.
Good casting.
I like the fact that you were probably sitting there smiling to yourself, going, "Oh, I'm gonna say Raw. I'm gonna say Raw."
Yeah, I'm gonna say Raw. It's better. Yeah, I did. Dan, what's your number 1?
My number 1 is 24.
I'm glad we moved on from that quite quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My number 1 is 24. Love Kiefer Sutherland. And along with what we said about Game of Thrones, 24 is one of those ones that you watch and you cared about every character that died. I remember there being an episode, I think we were discussing it earlier, where CTU gets filled up with gas. And like 3 people died in that episode. And it was like, no, not them. And there was a season that started with 3 of my favourite characters getting killed off straight away. It's like, no,
That's
why
never
are you
good.
doing this
No,
to me?
at all.
No.
Do you like shows which take risks like that?
Yes,
Kill off
definitely.
characters.
And then not only that, it was good at building characters. Like Chloe comes into it, and you hate Chloe at first, and then when you get to the end of 24, it's literally she's the only person that stood by.
Yeah,
Jack.
she's pretty much the only one that's in it.
Yeah,
like, really
that's
entire
only
thing.
stood by Jack, and you love Chloe so much by the end.
She can only pull one expression though.
Yeah, constipated. But I was genuinely upset when 24 finished, and I can't wait for it to come back.
Okay, my number 1. It's going to be interesting because I think me, Mark, and Ben have the same number 1. So number 1 for me, obviously, is Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad.
Oh my god! It's got 2
crazy.
episodes left, and unless they do something really crazy,
It would have to be the most appalling, dumbest piece
Yeah.
of shit that had ever graced television for this
It
to
was all a
tarnish.
dream.
Yes.
No, it would have to be worse than that. It would have to
Ew.
be, it was all a dream, and that dream was the dream of Leonard Nimoy when he travelled back in time to tell Khan that it wasn't the future.
No. I would love it if they did it whereas like a prequel to Malcolm in the Middle. I think that'd be quite a really funny.
Oh, it was all a dream of Bryan Cranston's character from Malcolm.
Yeah,
in the
it's
Middle.
like-
You know what?
Yeah.
Loses all his money.
You know what, I
Goes
think-
over cancer. Just
I
has a
think that
family.
would do it. I think that would do it for tarnishing the entire series.
It's. I won't go into it too much detail, but it's just a very good story in television form. It shows for me, it shows the extent, how far you can take a television show. A lot of
Yeah.
films are good at having a good beginning, middle and end and telling these really good arcs. And television, for a long time, hasn't been as good as telling these like serial one-story arcs. Like if you look at Sopranos and stuff like that, that has, seasons where things will happen. But in the general sense of the thing, it doesn't tell one consistent story.
Yeah, the problem
Yeah.
with a lot of serialized television these days is they will write a series and then just, go on, okay, so what are we doing now? Whereas Breaking Bad, it's very
One
much
story.
like we've written this, okay, so we've done series 1, how do we continue from that? And it's all feels like one very natural, progressive path.
Yeah.
It's not like Dexter, where characters will just seemingly change for no good reason, series to series. Like, so the side characters in Dexter are mutable and just very interchangeable. But in Breaking Bad, everyone has a very consistent arc. Everyone is very believable.
And
The
yeah,
acting is great. The cinematography is stunning. It's the best film that's not in cinemas.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
now that we're at the final season, it's run at the same time as Dexter's finale, and it's just all about payoff at the moment. And it's very satisfying to know that, yes, the previous seasons have all been amazing, but the last bit is kind of like the most important hurdle.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that Lost failed at that hurdle for me, and I think Buffy did for a lot of people. The last episode a lot, but anyway, Breaking Bad so far, all the stuff that you've been like, I hope this gets a really satisfying like conclusion and stuff. It really is. It's everything has been really satisfying. We've got 2 episodes left. I can't wait to see how it ends.
Let's hope in 3 weeks' time we're not on this show
It's the worst
crying
Yeah, we
about
just like
how
go-
terrible the show was and how
Yeah.
everything great and grand has been ruined and dashed to the ground. Like so many towers of cards. But
I won't be crying.
well, you won't because you don't care. But this
Like,
half
something bad
of
happen then?
this half of the screen here will be quite sad. But yeah, it's stunning.
It's very,
Go
very
watch
good.
it.
One of the best shows you'll ever see.
We were talking. I mean, our last episode was our favourite films of the summer. Honestly, Breaking Bad is one of my favourite films of all time. It's just in a completely different format.
Season 4 is probably one of the greatest seasons of TV I've ever seen in my life. Just that whole
It's
season.
all
beautiful.
fan freaking
The episode, The Fly, about any spoilers, is one of the best episodes I've ever seen of any TV show. Like, one minute you can laugh at just how ridiculous it is, and the next minute you go, oh my god, this is like amazing, just how different, it's just how the show works, that so many different people are so opinionated on different characters. Well, that's why I love it so much, because not everyone loves or hates the same characters. Everyone has different opinions. Like, you might meet some people who think Walt's an absolute arsehole, other people might love Walt. Same with Hank, same with Jesse. Marie's very mixed, so is Skylar. That's why I love it so much. Just how
Marie
it's
shouldn't be mixed. Marie is detestable.
I like Marie.
But it's a difficult sell because, as we said earlier, it's beginning, middle, and end. And the first 2 seasons are pretty much the beginning of this film.
Yeah,
Season 3 and 4.
it's very much
are
Act 1,
middle,
Act 2,
and
Act 3.
Season 5 is the end.
It
So it's
feels
kind of-
like a film.
You've got to get through like 18 episodes or something before you've got Walt to Heisenberg kind of thing. It's like 7 episodes before he puts on the cap and the glasses. And so it's
a very slow burn, and
Yeah,
that's
it's very slow
another
burn,
thing I
but
really
it's
like because it
paying
takes
off.
its time.
And I think also Walt's one of the greatest characters ever created. So is, spoilers in a sense, Gus and Saul Goodman. I think another 2 characters which are very well made. Gus is one of those characters that was one of the characters that actually literally scared me, and I think I actually feared for Jesse and Walt's life at
Jesse.
certain points. That's just one moment that when you watch it
Yeah.
that makes you go, oh my god.
there's one moment that makes you go, oh my god.
There's not just one. There's a lot.
There are
It's-
lots of moments.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Overall, very good show.
Yeah, very, very good.
That was the Breaking
Absolutely
Bad
is.
Power Hour fun time on Geekamania.
With a
Yeah.
side note, 24.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah. Basically, Internet, you have learned 2 things you already know. Number 1, Joss Whedon is God. Number 2, Breaking Bad's really good.
Yes. No, Vince Gilligan is God. Is that his name?
That's Geekamania. That's Mark.
That's Ben.
It's down.
That's Ben.
Bye, guys!